Hello friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade and Hallmark. Today I've got this fun, dramatic ink blending and heat embossed card. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my background stamped. So I've got a piece of soft navy cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and I already have this pre-cut to fit on my card base. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp down this text background. This is the MFT. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not MFT. This is the Whimsy Stamps script background, and I'm using some MFT ink here. This is Beyond Blue, and I'm going to stamp it down on the background to create a nice kind of fun texture background. If you guys been here for a while, you guys know I love any kind of text stamp to add some interest to the background of any card that I make. And I really like doing like tone on tone because it's subtle, but it's just enough to add a little bit of interest. So you could use any text stamp that you like. I just really like this Whimsy one because I like the really scripty font. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to do some ink blending. I am going to be using some distress inks to do this. I've got chipped sapphire and black soot, and I'm going to ink blend all around the edges here, and this is just going to create some depth and dimension to the card. You definitely don't have to do this step, but I personally think it adds a lot of interest. And you can do this with any color combination. I have just recently been in a blue mood. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I have boys, so I don't have a tendency to lean towards pink or purples, but I really think you could make a whole set of these cards using the same style, but just switching up the colors. And you could make a whole set, which I think would be really pretty. A whole rainbow set would be really nice. So I'm just going around the edges. I'm not super concerned about how perfect the blend is. And then I'm going to go in with the black soot, and I'm going to do the same thing around the edges here. Just going to add around the edge just to darken it a bit more and draw your eye to like the center of the card, because that's kind of where the majority of the elements are going to be, is right in the center of the card. Going to ink blend that all the way around. And again, I'm not super concerned if it's perfect or if it's, you know, anything like that, because I am going to be adding a little bit of splatter later on and some heat embossing over top, so it doesn't really matter how it looks. Once I do have that all finished though, I am going to hit it with my heat gun really, really well, because I am going to be doing heat embossing on top, and I want to make sure that it's super, super dry before I do any kind of heat embossing, because I don't want it to, you know, the heat embossing to stick, the powder to stick anywhere that I don't want it. So again, I'm just going to hit it with my heat gun here, and then I'm going to get my stamp out. I'm going to be using the Simon Says Stamp Beautiful Flowers stamp set. I love this floral image. It is so pretty, so detailed, and I already have another idea for it that I got making this card. So super excited, and this big beautiful floral fits wonderfully on here. There's so many neat things that you can do with it, and I'm super excited to get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some heat embossing. So I'm going to first prep my cardstock with some anti-static powder, and I kind of dab it on, and then I take a nice big paintbrush and kind of brush it around a little bit better, just so I know that I've got good coverage and that my embossing powder is not going to go anywhere that I don't want it to. Once I was happy with that, I'm going to get out some sticky embossing ink to do my embossing. I'm just using some Simon Says clear embossing ink. Gonna really press that down. This is a new stamp, even though I've had this stamp in the past, and if you watched my haul video, I kind of explain what I think happened to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and stamp that down. I'm gonna do it 2 times just to make sure that I get a really, really good impression. And you can see whenever you tip it into the light that you can see how beautiful this stamp is. It really is very detailed and just absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much. I'm going to be using Burtis Monroe Alabaster White embossing powder. You could definitely do this in like a tone on tone, which I think would be pretty as well. Do clear embossing so that whenever you get the blue from the background to come through, I think would be really pretty. There's another idea for it. So it's really fun that you get ideas as you're creating, because it helps kind of get your mind rolling and thinking in different directions. Once that's all done, I'm going to hit that with my heat gun, brush away any stray embossing flakes that I don't want in the other blue areas, just making sure it's nice and crisp and clean. and then I'm going to hit that with my heat gun. And I just love watching embossing powder melt. I think it is so cool. My kids think it's the neatest thing. They think it's magic. It kind of is. I mean, you're turning a powder into a solid with heat, and I think it's really cool. So once I have that done, I am going to get my card base ready. So once that's all nice and heated up, we can get started on the other elements of the card. So I wanted to add a little bit of gold to this because my greeting is going to be gold. So I took out my Prima metallic watercolor set. I haven't used this in ages, and I absolutely love it, especially the golds in this. So I'm gonna just go ahead and splatter a little bit of gold around the flower here. You can, again, definitely leave this out if you're not into that. You could just go with sequins or anything along those lines. But I really wanted to add this just to add a little bit more interest to the card, add a little bit more gold to it, and you can't ever go wrong with sparkly gold glitter, speckles on anything. Any opportunity that I get to add that, I'm definitely going to do it. So while that's drying, I'm going to work on my card base. I've got a top folding A2 sized card base. This is 110 pound cardstock from Simon. And I'm going to stamp on the inside. Now, as you guys know, I don't usually do a whole lot on the inside of my cards, but when it comes to this big floral, I just had to stamp it on the inside. So I'm going to open up my card here, and I am going to stamp this big floral on the inside using some fog gray stamp. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't talk. Fog gray ink from Simon Says Stamp, and this is what has inspired me for my next card that I got coming out here real soon. I just love the look of this floral stamped in this gray ink. It is absolutely beautiful, and I've got an idea for it, and I can't wait to share it with you guys because I can't get enough of this stamp. It is so pretty. And now that I have that already, my background is nice and dry. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this assembled. So you could definitely pop up this back panel. You could do anything like that. I'm just going to adhere everything nice and flat because I am going to add dimension with my grading. Just using some liquid glue to attach this down. And again, I already had this pre-cut. I used the stacked A2 dies, from Waffle Flower to do all of my die cutting. So my greetings that I'm using came from that Pinkfresh Studio kind of ephemera set that I shared in my haul. And this is just blows my mind because this made this card go by so fast that I didn't have to really think too hard on what greeting I wanted to use. I actually chose the greeting first before I did any other thought process of my card. I really wanted to use this greeting and pop it up, and that was the whole basis for this card, is this thinking of you and this fun gold foiled, it's already die cut, already ready to go. I just added some foam adhesive to the back to pop it up, and boom, it's done. I was super thrilled with this, and I can't wait to use more of these to create more cards because it's just going to make the process go by a little bit faster. Again, there's nothing wrong with stamping a greeting and doing all the foiling things, but this was just so much easier for me and my brain. Next, I'm going to go in and add some flat sequins to the background. These are some flat gold sequins. Again, you can leave this out. You can do different colored sequins. I just wanted to add a little bit more gold to the background and just a little bit more dimension with these. They are flat, but it does add a little bit of texture and dimension. And I'm just gluing those down with liquid glue. I have no direction on where I put these. I just place them where I think they look best, and it will finish out the card nicely. The last thing that I am going to do is I also took a secondary greeting for the inside of my card. Also came from that Pinkfresh Studios ephemera set, and it just says, you are in my thoughts. So this is a nice thankful card. It could be a sympathy card. It could be just, somebody's having a bad day and you're all set. So if you like the video, please consider hitting the like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel. Again, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you again soon. Bye. On screen, I have a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Please consider hitting the like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel.